Hello and welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I almost said podcast there. At some point, I was re-listening to things, and at some point, I dropped the podcast and welcome to Nollywood Film Club podcast. I just say welcome to Nollywood Film Club, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. You're on a podcast platform. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I'm Mr. C of Iroko Critic, and we do have another, I think, good conversation because of a couple of things. I think somebody reminded us who listened on the conversation that they enjoyed our conversation around the sexual assault in this film. So if that's not something you want to listen to, I guess it's worth knowing now. But I think it's a very productive one. It's something that I think we've discussed before, but we always sort of what's the word? We are always, I guess, grateful for some of the feedback we get sometimes, and sometimes it's a little um, um, reassuring when we get feedback of the sorts when people hear us discuss this, because sometimes some people do see these things and either no one fleshes it out for them or nobody else says it, and so sometimes people feel alone. And that's the point of Nollywood Film Club for me: is here's my perspective, here's my perspective, and here are things that sometimes people don't usually talk about. One of the things we get to do on Nollywood Film Club as people who do watch a lot of films is recognize patterns as well. Excuse me, recognize patterns as well. So there is that. So there's that. I think there's that discussion. I think there's a pushback section on misogyny, which I also think is interesting. And yeah, just a good conversation overall. Um, Having said that, I just listen to it. I'm sure this is a interesting episode for people who have been following us, and I hope you enjoy Nollywood Film Club discussing A Young Time Ago. I said if we overdo more than 90 minutes on this, we have failed. All right, let's just get to it. Welcome to Nollywood Film Club. We do discuss Nollywood movies every Sundays. We'll discuss the good, we'll discuss the bad, and we'll do pushback if there's any. If you want to do pushback, and then we'll do a summary of our views at the end. All right.
I think the usual pushback session we can use it for exploration.
Okay, that's yeah. Stop interrupting my introduction. It's
I
very
thought I finished your
important.
introduction.
No, I haven't finished my
Oh, you
introduction.
haven't finished your introduction.
No,
My apologies.
you're
Carry
extending the
on.
introduction
Carry
as we speak.
on.
All right. So the rest of the things I was going to say is that if you do want to request to speak or leave a comment, do drop your comments if you don't want to speak, and we will read it out. All right.
So that's what you had to say. You were doing like you had something important to.
Actually, I wish I could mute you. Why can't I mute you?
It brings me so much joy that
in
you
real
can.
life? I would mute you anyway. All right. I think Vanessa might have been first. I can't remember. All right. Vanessa, back again.
Back again. First position as always. What did you like?
Not always.
You do realize that this is the opposite of the concordance that we reached an agreement on for my return. You do realize that we are doing the opposite. No quanta. I quite heavily campaigned for this film, not really, but also really. Um,
I don't think you should admit to
honestly,
this
I'm admitting to
outside.
it because
Don't admit to this thing in
I
public.
enjoy just taking a risk. Like, this film had zero information about itself on the internet, and like I didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. I quite enjoyed just the unknown and just going into a film without having any like predisposed like opinions about it. So here's my good. The opening music, like literally, like once the film starts playing, you hear one thing sound like this before Wale Ojo does his. I know wait, this is going somewhere. Before before Wale Ojo does his narration, that opening music sounds like the start of the Banjis, Mogbono Feli Feli. And I'm not even joking. Like, actually, go back and listen to it, and then go and listen to Bono Feli. And I promise you, it sounds so similar. And I felt so psychic because, like, 7 minutes into the film, they mentioned the band, and I was like, "See, I knew there was a band something inside this thing." Um, my second good is I really like Wale Ojo's voice. Something about it just works for me. Uh, my third good, I just got served. She didn't even say I got served breakfast. None of that. Like, she just said I just got served. I was like, I'm sorry, this is making it into my everyday vocabulary. And then he goes, served. You mean like breakfast? And she's like, yeah. I was like, oh, this dialogue. Look at Nego do dialogue. I was see, maybe I was in a good mood. I just thought it was hilarious. And I was honestly the first 5 minutes of the film before we dove into like tragedy. I thought it was hilarious, man. I was having a good time. Um Sandra Okunzua is fine like 1,000 people, and I wish she was the main like person in this film. Like, baby girl is just fine, beauty, nyafu nyafu everywhere, just a beautiful girl. Um, Next, Young Tayo. Mofeyin. I had to Google his name because his name is really long. His name is Mofeyin Tolaoluwa Jibutu. He's a cutie pie. He's adorable. And I in my notes I literally have I've seen him somewhere before, but I don't recall. But then Mo told me where I saw him, and I was like, yeah, I remember seeing him. And he was actually acting his butt off. I mean, he was on screen for most of it in this film. And like he actually tried. Like I bought a lot of what he was selling. And he's adorable. So I'll take Young Tyre. Um One of the uni friends, Anne, played by Doris Okori. I was so happy to see her. The last time I saw her was in Mr. Incredible on Iroko, and I thought she was great in that. So it was nice to see her on my screen. What's next? I'm flipping through my notes. Guys, pop culture moment. We got the white woman sweater wrap when like when white like it's in like Hollywood things, it's like Hallmark movies when white women wear like cardigans and like they're going through something really serious and then there's a wrap around the way they wrap the cardigan around themselves. We got that moment from Kemi when she was on the edge of the cliff or something with Tayo and she was telling him about what happened, and I was like, this is cinema. I was like, this is when she did the wrap and she did it so well. Like you could feel the emotions because the way they do it in Hallmark movies is to get you to realize like how serious like the thing that this person is going through is, and like the way she wrapped the cardigan around herself. I was like, yeah, this is cinema. Um, Guys, the cultist against rape. I mean, need I say more? Um, Also, I loved all the LD representation we had in this film, man. From like we had Big Boy, Money Mojuko Sinu Bentley, Posh Ati Home again, loud spend. I was like, I was living. We also got like Bossy Bang Bang Kajo. I was like, see, give me LD. I'm good. Yeah, those are my goods, I guess. Like I'm sorry, like I know like a lot of the subject matter was really annoying, like, and we will get to that in the bad, but like I had a good time with this. Maybe because I went in without expectations. I was in a semi-good mood.
Were you sober?
I was. Very
Okay.
much. I maybe I've been sleeping the entire day. I just think I was in a very good mood. I didn't know what to expect. So what I was watching wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. And it wasn't. I didn't have a bad time. I'm sorry, guys. I'm technically I'm sure it was bad, and like there are things that I just didn't care. Like at least with the technical parts of like the filmmaking and stuff. I just thought it was I don't know, man. It was
It was a good
it was like
time.
good
A
time,
young
good time. Like I
time.
had like the first 10 minutes of this before he launched into his a young time ago story. I was enjoying myself.
Okay. I just have to second that while I was watching it too. I was like, cultists against rape.
Literally, and like you said, I was like, it was like the
Fresh perspective,
diversity
diversity.
goes. for Sam, he was like, "Excuse you, sir." Like, I mean, and then he goes
All
into
right,
like a
we've
sob
heard.
story about why he's against rape.
Oh my God, the whole story.
Guys,
Okay, all right, we heard you're good.
I don't know why you guys don't like this film.
No, no, thank you. People that don't like it will explain in their bad section.
I mean, I have bads, but like,
All right. Okay. All right. Elizabeth, do you want to tell us some of the things you liked about A Young Time Ago?
wasn't Mo next?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it was
Oh,
Elizabeth.
so have you called me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been
It's been a.
I'm
forgotten your
actually
other
trying to
name.
I'm trying to distract my kids here actually. So
Turn on Coco Melon. No, what?
so yeah, let me start. So first, just like then I did not imagine, like I had nothing about this. I just saw it on Twitter. You guys said this is what we are watching next. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go into it. So I decided to go into it almost blind. So first, I like the colors. I really like the colors, the look and the feel, the look from the present going into the past. I like that the past was not exactly sepia, but it had that rustic thing going on. So I thought that was good. I liked it. Um, they kept it then for the time piece, right? They kept it for the period. They kept it minimal enough for us not to suspect. Baggy jeans here, blackberry there, bandana there, just sprinkling things and not, of course I saw some solar panels, but I'm like, was there stuff solar in 2004, but maybe, yeah, six maybe, or not, or whatever. I like seeing Tomiwa CJ movies, thank you, that's my plus. The dialogue sometimes felt natural. Sometimes the dialogue, you're like the person writing was in their bag. The conversations between friends, right? The camaraderie actually just works. Takes me back to, uni and then conversations, the way it just flows, right? Um, but the story itself, I like some things. As much as I like things, I also dislike a lot of things. But before then, let me just talk about the likes. I like that it's pretty straightforward. That is the entire body, apart from the prologue, the first arc, and then the last, uh, resolution. That middle part, pretty straightforward. But what I also like the most is the writer managed to set up a lot of things for the motivation and each character arc. So you see that things were set up. Nobody was acting, or the characterization wasn't exactly out of turn. Out of like if we look at, what's his name? The friend, the guy's friend, Tyre's friend. He had not always liked that babe, and then the way it speaks about her, up until Tomiwase's character overheard them. Right, I like that there is a build up to his actions and then his utterances that made Tyre just flip. It's consistent. It's something. It seems minute, but I've been watching Nollywood this year, and I did not. This is like my first space in maybe months, right? And I don't really like writing. I like it when things don't happen out of character of a characterization. So I like that. Um, I like the use of music. I love it so much. It was when it was meant to be solemn. It was solemn, slow pace. When it got to the old school thing, it was picked up pace, the band here, LD there. I thought it was good. The acting was very okay across board for me. Across board. That babe, I can't remember her name, but the babe that acted, yeah, the main babe, the light. I'm so sorry, I'm bad with names. I'd seen her in another movie that I didn't think she was pulling her weight, but I thought here she gave a very, even more better than passable depiction of that character. So I thought it was okay. Everybody around the eight, even the secondary characters, even those that were not strong, some were strong and some were just passive, were passable enough. So the trope. So one thing that I really like, the final thing that I really liked about this story, the plot, is there is a trope that I like. The trope here is that more like the central theme is that there are forces, good and bad, that rule the affair of men, and then they rewrite our stories accordingly. Now, this trope was used heavily in Adjustment Bureau. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. And but unlike Adjustment Bureau, the old bad guy versus good guy that were looking around, they didn't have like a stronger presence here. At first, when I saw them before that whole party thing, when the devil with that black thing, yeah, cliche much, the bad good guy, the hat stuff, I was like, nah, where's this going? And then while this movie was going on, I didn't see them again. I was like, no, you better don't tell me that they picked this trope and then just discarded it for no reason. But I like the way it was used. I understand that maybe they don't want to incorporate it too heavily into the entire plot, but I liked how it showed up later at the end with Gabriel. Is that cinema for Angel Gabriel? Who knows? But anyways, I thought it was nice. I really thought it was nice. That I was impressed. I'd seen it in Hollywood, but here, seeing the way it was done. And then I like that it overall explained the central theme. The central theme is not exactly maybe the rape thing, whatever, is the fact that this guy's life was going to get derailed. The bad guy, the devil came. Of course, Magic's life was going to go to shit. But then the good guy saved the entire guy, Lisa, whatever. But anyways, that's for my likes. We'll meet again in the bad. Bye.
All right.
Convinced.
Thanks for the promise. We shall keep you to it. If you do want to leave a comment, please feel free to drop something. Adaya says, I agree with Vanessa. It was fun. A lot of things were funny. I thought the bad was funny. Great acting for most parts. Unexpected storyline. That's one way to put it. I think some of the shots were good too. Emotional. Thank you, Adelia. All right. Okay. I think it's Otas next.
Hi.
Otas, hi. Tell us some of the things you enjoyed about this.
So I think something went wrong in that Nollywood flight last week because since then I've been sick and Vanessa is clearly delirious. And when they announced that we were watching this, when people announced it, I just knew that my enemies were inside film club, and I've narrowed it down to 4 people. But, anyways, I enjoyed that this had a lot of new faces. Not well chosen new faces, but very new. It was a fresh perspective because they could have used the same bad 4 actors, but instead they used new ones. So that was great. Um, I thought Timini was very gracious. I love that he decided to act really badly so that the other co-stars could shine. And I do think that there is something to be said for staying in your wheelhouse and having fun with it. And I think he was having fun. I enjoyed the older references and songs. The fashion was very Nollywood babes for the most part. The first 30 minutes I thought were really hilarious. There were some parts of the dialogue that were fun. The dialogue with the friends, there's the one in the car when they're about to go get the girls, and I thought it was very fun and natural. But yeah, this movie had everything: random magic, an angel with wings, blue drugs that no one knows what it was, but somehow knew how to ingest, rape apologists, rape avengers, everything was covered. Love wins in the end. At least I think that was love. But yeah, yeah.
Actually, I think those blue drugs were demon drugs.
Fair enough.
And I think with drugs, just get it into your body one way or the other. Okay. Oyinka, what did you like about this movie?
So for I want to just mention one thing. Like, it seems that this movie was based on a play, from what they said. I've never heard this play, but I do want to say that, like, from the movies based on a play, since we've been watching some Nollywood film for this past few years or something, or this year, this is the best, like, adaptation of a play into movie. They use different locations, they actually try to change it to meet his medium. So I think this movie did very well in that. Because it looks like a movie and it kind of doesn't necessarily. There's still some things that kind of remind you that it's a play because of the way the story is and like dialogue and actually like characters and acting and things set up. For instance, like obviously it's a play because it goes a young time ago. That's like I don't think like if you're going to start as a script writing that you're going to write that down, but as like a play you can see like people really doing that, playwrights really doing stuff like that rather than like a movie, like movie script writers rather than script writers. um Also, like it's a very different kind of script, right, from scripts that we've seen that started off as like movie scripts. This one is more concerned with like characters, like the people, what they say, how characters feel, rather than it being concerned about like big set pieces or something like, or kind of it's so obviously kind of like play, because it's in play that you get this type of like just stories of characters moving it forward, not necessarily about like just getting what how am I going to say it? But but for that, I think I liked it because I think everybody acted pretty well. I liked it because it's like it is again like the characters are moving the story forward rather than it feels like this just happen. It doesn't feel like things happen just because we need we need like engagement, like something big to happen. Like it's not melodramatic for melo. It doesn't feel like it's melodramatic for melodramatic sake. Um, I like how it deals with choices. I like how it even treats its horrible characters with some sort of human dignity. Like the guy would raped, right? It says, oh well, like the fact that the way he was killed was not necessarily a right thing to have been done. It You could see guilt and like how actions can lead to other things. Even though you might say that okay, yeah, this guy was not particularly wrong, but like the action, the outcomes that come out of it is not what we necessarily want. So I liked it for that. I liked it because it definitely kind of went a way that I didn't think it was going to go. Like the start of, you think it's going to be like a cute romance, like cute like rom-com, something like that, something about how it looks. You don't think it's going to be like a human drama, right? And I like it. I miss human drama movies. I miss human drama um stories. I miss those type of things because honestly nowadays, whatever movies, I think you get it on TV where you get some human drama things still, but like nowadays it's all movies are not no longer about human drama. They are usually now about like just out of the world, like can this happen to like a regular everyday human being? Probably not. It's not those type of movies are not are, are few or far between across the world for some reason, and I don't know why. But so I like this movie for that. It was a good time. I like the fact that they tried with making it into the past. Um, it it kind of reminds me of like there's some of the fashions there kind of sort of reminds me of like the era of the Nollywood babes, or the era of like those campus movies where how the girls will be dressing and everything. But it's different, and like I think like technical wise, yeah, there's some things wrong with the sound and some things wrong with, but it's passable, and it's like passable enough, and it's good. It's. I think it's a good movie that you can watch, and you will generally be entertained. That's what I think. But I was generally entertained. I was generally engaged with it. Um, yes, whether some bads, yes. Uh, I kind of like. I definitely did like the angel and the devil, but I don't really even also think they were. So I don't completely understand what they were, but like they were they were definitely like evil and bad, or just things that happen, or they're like a manifestation of like things that are beyond people's control. Bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people, all those things, and they are representation of that. And it was wonderful to see it. Now, do I think necessarily the narrator device of the guy in the present telling the story was necessarily needed? But I get why they have it, because we needed it for as a setup for the happy ending. It is. I don't. Well, that's when we get to our to kind of like dislikes. I think that as Bennett not Vanessa, Miss as Elizabeth said, as Elizabeth said, some of the dialogue is definitely good. It definitely shows, and I think the writer in the dialogue really, some of the parts of dialogue really worked out. And I just look, it feels like a movie. It feels to me like what it should be like a. It doesn't feel like a what's it called? How am I gonna say this? Like a spectacle movie. It doesn't feel like a spectacle movie. It feels like a movie that is trying
Yeah.
to get to human, like a human movie, like a human story, like something that could possibly something happen. And I really do appreciate movies that do that nowadays, because it's very difficult to find some of those type of movies. And I think it's really good. And it's also the best play to movie adapted Nollywood movie in recent years.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ayinka. I think I'm getting the general temperature is that all of you are tired of spectacle.
Except me, please. They should have given me some spectacle here. Because
Okay. Most of you are tired of spectacle. That's the general temperature I'm getting. All right. For me, what did I like about this film? I liked that the younger Kemi was always singing. I just thought that was a nice touch. I think even when she was telling him that, oh, I promise I'll come to your room sometime, and she was singing the I promise, I promise. And it's like, yeah, the people who sing annoyingly do that all the time. Even people who don't, to be honest. So
Not all of them, to be honest, but sure. The ones I know don't actually do it, but
no ones I know do. But yeah, so that was cute. I thought that was cute. And she had some moments where, she was emoting. So that worked for me. What's her name? I don't know her name. Vanessa was mentioning her name. The babe that came, Sandra?
It's Sandra.
Is Sandra her name?
The babe at the restaurant, Ukara,
Yeah,
Sandra
yeah.
Okunzua.
Sandra is a babe and a half. And honestly, if I had written this film, I would have accepted that babe's apology and then asked Sandra's character
Thank
out.
you. That's how I thought this film
I'm
was
just
gonna
saying,
end.
such a babe. So yeah, that's another plus. Beautiful babe, beautiful babe. What else did I like about this film? Um, I like Wale Ojo. I guess like it's kind of like everybody's uncle in a way. So there was that. Yeah, I'm really having to rack my brain because because honestly, the things that I found funny were not good things. So I'm just gonna pass you along to Mr. C. What did you like about this film?
Right. Okay, so I think a couple of people have said some of my things. It does have a few sort of like character
moments that I do agree are quite cute. Some people have mentioned a couple of them. The singing. I actually also remember. There's the time at the pool. They're trying to sort of at least develop the romance between these two, which I appreciated. I thought the framing of no, let's not do that one. What else? Okay, so I think it was Yahoo Plus. It was Yahoo Plus that I saw and I really enjoyed. It was Yahoo Plus that I saw and I really enjoyed. That was small, low budget, and this has a very low budget edge to it. It makes sense. But like what it's able to do with its low budget, I think is somewhat. I'm grasping at
Somebody is
straws here. I think
struggling.
I'm struggling.
See, I stopped struggling and passed to you.
All right.
You guys just need to be in
No.
the right frame of mind to watch this film.
No, maybe. But I think I'm not ready to ingest that much drugs, to be
I
honest.
said it's delirium. If people will not answer me, I check Vanessa in.
Delirium. Is it drugs?
No. Look, I do appreciate when I can tell you that I don't want to do. I like the intentions, right? But I do appreciate when somebody at least goes for a thing, and certainly a thing was gone for. If that makes sense. There was an attempt at doing something that wasn't typical, and I wouldn't call this lazy either.
Then again, I don't know how much credit to give it
because I don't the play,
yeah.
right? Yeah, but I'm not calling it. I mean,
the originality and intention is from the play.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's why I've been struggling, but it's not lazy. I feel like I can say that it's not lazy. I think the faults that this film has will be with just competence, which we will talk about now as we let's pivot to the things we don't like. If you want to say some things you liked or didn't like, please feel free to drop it in the thread. All right. We're starting with Vanessa.
Sound was bad. Yada yada yada. I'm sorry, guys. I guess maybe Otas is right. Delirium. But like I get it. Technically this wasn't strong. Much of the cinematography wasn't exactly like exciting. I guess some of it felt like it was shot on an iPhone. Blah blah blah. Um my only serious bad, and I feel like I've and a number of people have overflogged this dead and decaying horse of Nollywood using rape and sexual assault as a plot device. But it's how it was handled in this film that was like atrocious. First we get Demon Guy who basically facilitated Kemi's rape for, I guess his words were fun. I don't know about that. Also, her friend Anne, I don't know, 1 minute she's helping Magic and his guys basically cover up her friend's assaults while her friend is unconscious, and then second she's, I don't know, trauma bonding with her. A lot of it just felt, I felt very one kind. even our protagonist was quite loose-lipped with Kemi's rape, especially when she had asked him to not speak about it. Just going around telling every Tom, Dick, and Harry somebody else's trauma. I don't know how that makes sense. And then my big question of the film is, how did Magic become victim? I I was in a state of confusion because this is a violent rapist under the influence of a demon drugs or not, and he just basically moved on with his life with the aid of his friends, with no care in the world, um, no repercussions, at least non-immediate, and I'm supposed to feel bad because Shadow and his boys killed him. I don't have that capacity to feel bad for such a person, and I felt quite offended that the film tried to make me feel bad that Magic was killed. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess the whole good and angel and a demon thing. I'm not doing seeing the intention for that one. It didn't work for me. The CGI wings at the end. What a wow! Like, I was like, when I saw the wings, I wouldn't lie, I laughed, but like, but like I had to mention it in my bad because I was like, the way those wings just, I was like, are we watching Mind you, I love Barbie movies, but like, are we watching a Barbie movie with the way those wings were done? Like, no. But yeah, those are my bads. The sexual assault was handled atrociously in this film. I don't know. I don't know. And the semblance of love that wasn't really love because I don't know. There was no. I mean, they tried with the pool, but there was no glimmer of anything from at least from Kemi's side. Kemi throughout the film insisted that Tayo was just her friend, and so I'm very confused how over the years she's been wanting him to say, with like that part in the restaurant really pissed me off because she was like, now can you say what you didn't have the courage to say? I was like, sis, my good sister, you do know from the days of the university that this boy don't like you. It's not about it. So you don't like him. So this nonsense that you are doing don't really make sense. I just couldn't. I couldn't buy the love. I thought it was on. I thought the angle of Kemi waiting for him years after was unnecessary. Um. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But I still maintain that much of it was a fun watch.
Okay. Um, Elizabeth, do you want to tell us some of the issues you had with A Young Time Ago?
Yeah, because now real issues, anyways. So, most of the things I liked actually also falls into the pool of the things that I did not like. So, first thing that I did not like was um the structuring of this story. So, when I thought about the entire structure, sense for a low budget. I mean, I see why they would choose not to spend so much time in, they will not have to pay all the big actors, the that short, the first arc and then the resolution at the end, right? But now, and then they left a huge chunk in the middle. That was the entire school thing, rape thing, but we'll get there. So that first part, right? Oh, I need you to babysit my niece, whatever. Now, the conversation that happened there was extremely tilted. It was very unnatural because I think I rewound it twice because I thought when I first watched it, I was working and then I was listening. And while listening to conversation, the conversation did not gel because I'm like, oh, how did we end up at, oh, you are gay? I'm like, excuse me, let me rewind that. And then I watched it this time around. It still didn't make sense because how did he, how did they manage to jump from um my, how did they manage to jump from, oh my God, My daughter has come to attack me. So how did they jump from just got served and she didn't give a response, and next thing is, have you ever been in love? And the next thing was, oh, you must be gay. And then like, oh, let me tell you my story. It felt very unnatural. I don't know, they should have thought about something else, but it did feel unnatural. So I didn't mind, because I'm like, okay, let's see what we have to do now inside the middle itself. As much as this story was supposed to be what's so I would say, like, the central theme being, somebody doing a bad thing and another person doing a bad thing to the person that did the bad thing, they'll get their own comeuppance, but then there's this good guy lurking around waiting to put them back on the narrow and straight or whatever. Now, is the choice of the writer to use rape that I question? Yeah, the entire setup for she likes to sing. She thought she's met somebody. There's already motivation for the cultists not liking magic. They just don't like him. So, tighten, extra belts for motivation for that angle. And then, yeah, that guy, when he went to that speech of my mom in Abeokuta, I'm like, as much as the dialogue sometimes sounds brilliant, other times it sounds aspirational in such a way that it also comes out unnatural, which was what happened here. It came out so unnatural. I don't know. I'm not saying that the court guy can, go, into some Achebe thing or Adichie thing, big grammar, tell us a story. I just felt like it came out of nowhere, considering the characterization we've seen so far, right? That tiny monologue that goes into, this is my own motivation. So I just think that entire middle, as much as the story seemed straightforward, the plots, this good guy did a bad thing to a bad guy that deserved it, but he got his own comeuppance. There's something there that just felt extra. I thought it was long. In fact, I thought when this story starts, I checked for 7 minutes, we're still talking about the rape business. I'm like, so when is this movie really going to start? Because I didn't feel like the movie had started. I didn't even think that all of that backstory was the first arc of that middle. I just thought maybe we were still going somewhere. So I think there's something about the storytelling that just seems like it needed more work. I don't know the reason why rape had to be the go-to guy. I really think we should use sensitive stories in a better. I think this film is trying to say that, you do bad, you get your comeuppance. But if you take vengeance instead of the authority or the Lord, you also get your comeuppance. I think that's what this thing is trying to do. But nonetheless, I didn't feel it's necessary. I don't buy it entirely. And now let's get to the corny end. Oh my God. My God. And then she was crying. Oh, why are you crying? Oh, what if you speak to her now? And then she comes, oh, you've been listening. I'm like, get out of here. Will you get out of here? Because I'm like, what's going on? I don't know why but it made sense considering the beginning was already stilted. It made sense that the ending was going to be something extremely unnatural either, also rather. So that, is my uncle. Then they brought his friends from before and then they hugged. Maybe there is something else they could have done better without it coming off so choppy. Oh my God, my daughter's found me. Anyways, that's what I didn't like. I probably have other things I didn't like, but I need to run. Thanks.
Seems like your daughter enjoyed this movie.
All right. Akons, what were your issues?
Yeah, Elizabeth was talking about like, yeah, I definitely thought
Sorry.
the
Sorry. In fact, Akons, go on. Sorry, I forgot it was you, but like you guys came almost at the same time, to be fair. But so you go after Akons. Akons, please go ahead.
Osas. Osas didn't go. Osas, go.
Okay, not particularly enthused, but sure. All right. So, things happen throughout this movie because they have to. And And I think that when you finish the movie, it sort of comes together, and that the reason for that is because they kind of want everyone to be sort of good and complicated, because they're trying to create complicated characters, but they just, I guess, push it along badly. And I think that's why we get the monologue from Shadow about, his mom's rape and why he's a terrible person, apparently otherwise, but rape he has a strong problem with, but not murder. So good for him. And then I think it's also why we have this random demon that influences drugs that causes the rape. And it's because, magic does something, but because he's on drugs and the drugs have been influenced by a demon, quote unquote, then he's not technically like a conscious rapist in that sense. And then they try to make us feel like bad and conflicted, except I end up not feeling anything for anyone. Not the victim, not the perpetrators, not I just disliked everyone. The magical angel that was in jail with him for I don't know how many years, but couldn't save him, stop him from going to jail, and instead brings them together 10 years later, because I don't know why that happened. They set up a world with this random magic, random bad, and like just a random devil and a random angel. And then the explanation, the monologues is just so ridiculous. Like they end the story talking about time and how you should take the time to say you love the people you love. Like someone was just like, what are we doing? I don't know. And with the setting up everything, like from the beginning, it's very clear. Like even from the beginning, where he's like, "Oh, I don't know how Shadow became my friend. He was being executed. I went and I hit him with a stick, and now he's my best friend." Like it was very clear to me that quintessential good guy makes a bad friend who's going to be useful later on in the story. And we've seen it before many times. In fact, I'm thinking of a movie that we just watched, not just a few months ago. Similar low budget issues, friends going to a party or having a party, and then this girl who's friends with these two guys gets raped because for some reason. And in this story, they also go and buy drugs from a random drug dealer somewhere. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but
What film is this?
it's heavy on my mind right now. Do you know what it's called?
No.
Do you know the movie I'm talking
Is
All
it
na
about?
vibes. All na
Oh,
vibes.
my
Oh,
Yes.
vibes.
sorry, guys.
Oh,
Thank
that was
you.
a
That was
long
a
time ago.
fever dream. I wiped
Thank
that from my
you
memories.
very much. This movie and that movie give me very much the same, like, the
Isn't it the
same
same?
amount of
Isn't it the same dude?
annoyance. What'd you say?
Sorry, the same thing.
Isn't it the
It's
same
not the
girl?
same. Is it?
No, no,
I don't know.
no. All that vibes is
Huh?
the Egunjobi. All
Huh?
that vibe is Egunjobi, not
Like,
Mr. Tani Abitali Wood Lele. Abikilo Ruko Boboy that do this one.
It doesn't matter. It's
okay.
all bad. Like, why do we keep doing this? Why does every coming of age university girl need to be raped to learn some lesson, and then some guy comes in and tries to save her and then makes it worse? Because that's what happened in On Our Vibes too. This babe was fine by herself. He decides to save her and then ruins her life. Anyways, um, I'm just tired of seeing young university women going to parties and then being rewarded with rape. I don't. It's beginning to seem like some penance that Nollywood. Is there something they want to tell us? And then it's the same thing they do in all the movies as well, with them very mixed messaging on whether they're rape apologists or whether they're rape advocates. Like in one line, the girl thinks it's terrible. He's an animal. And then in the next line, the girl, her friend, I can't remember her name, also now is like, oh, I can't believe she's still crying. It's been a few weeks. And I also told her my own rape story, but she's not listening. Like, why? I don't know. I was just confused a lot. I didn't understand the acting. I thought the acting was bad. I thought even at the party, she already looked completely uncomfortable from the beginning, and it made me uncomfortable for her to be there the entire time, especially because like the conversation preceding that, where she's like, "Oh, it's me now. I'll never put your hands," and her girls are like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." But she just seems so out of sorts, not to place the entire party even before they go to the studio. I never see the romance, so I don't even know how we end up where we end up. I just thought they were friends. One obviously liked the other person. I don't know how we got from point A to point Z. But yeah, I don't like anyone in this movie. I don't think the story makes sense. I don't see the intention. The film tries to make conflicts. I don't. Anyways, that's it.
Well, all right. Anytime Ota speaks for a bit, that's gotten to her. Whether it's a sickness or the movie, we don't
It's
know.
all of the above. How am I in it?
It's
Like,
all of the
legit, why
above.
am I in it?
Oh.
How am I affecting others? How?
All right. Akas, please tell us some of the things you didn't quite like about this.
Okay, so I will start, like I said, Elizabeth is right about like the beginning. First of all, I don't understand when she said serve, I thought she was getting divorced. Because I was thinking like you get served, like serving when people serve you papers or you're sued or something, or you buy, you know, and then I just got served breakfast. I still don't understand what that is. Could somebody explain to me what that is? I feel like there was a cultural context that I'm missing. And maybe because I've left the country for over a decade now, I
Yeah,
don't understand.
yeah, it's served breakfast like they broke up with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
thought it
also
was
thought
something
she
like
meant
that.
legal issues when she said she just got
That's why it's
served.
a
So
banger
Yeah.
of
I
a
was
And
also
line.
then he said
surprised.
breakfast.
I was
And then he said
also
breakfast.
surprised when he said, "Oh,
It was a
breakfast."
banger of a
Yeah.
line.
It was
But that's how
Yeah.
you got out of prison last
Yeah.
month.
I
What
was
does he know
like
about breakfast?
I used context to think that it was something to do with like
Where
a
is he getting?
relationship breaking up.
Where is he getting cultural context in prison? He's been in prison since
And
2009.
now new
But he has
inmates come
come
and
out
go
now. He's not
now.
hearing
Yes.
music.
A new prisoner come in, teach you something new.
A new prisoner
Yeah.
will come in and start teaching
You
him
never know.
breakfast.
But he's been
Okay.
hearing music. It's not like after he came out from prison, he was living under a rock.
Sorry. We're all experts on the Nigerian prison system. But you can carry on.
Nah. I just wanted to be sure that because I used context to figure out maybe it's some sort of breakup, but I was still thinking divorce. I was like, okay. Um, yeah, and then she went to gay, and then she went to love, and then I was just like, what is going on? Like, it doesn't, it doesn't gel. But like, I don't. If that was in the playwriting in the first place, playwriter, it's kind of writers do that, right? Writers, especially in plays, man. You're like what? But that was something. Also, the same thing, like the ending. I think that they should have just have done. I can buy the romance. The guy, the romance can be like, oh, this guy went to prison and he didn't want me to know, and like gave up. He said he gave up the what's it called, the passport and all that stuff, like that sort of sacrifice, I can buy that that can change a person's mind because that's a concrete thing that somebody did for you, right? She learnt about it later on and she just happens to be single. I can buy that stuff. The thing that I don't buy is the why are you talking about marriage? And why all of a sudden is no longer going to be a restaurant manager, he's going to have a job with his friend, and like shouldn't the friend have been his friend throughout the prison something, so I get the wanted to have an happy ending, but I don't think the story needed. There's sometimes in writing, sometimes people put extra story because that is not necessarily needed because they think people will say, oh, why is this not there? And okay, people will say that, but like it's not the point of the story, so don't don't put it there. Like, don't put it there. It's not the point of the story. And if people say that, okay, people will always have something to say about a story, about a play, about a art. There's nothing perfect. People will always have something to say. Just keep your story streamlined. It should have just ended with them getting back together and a future and the angel. That's it. The whole other thing, I don't think it was necessary. Um, um, what else? Yes, shadows. Conversate something, right? But the issue for me, I don't mind rape in movies. I don't mind. Like, I get it, context warning, whatever. But like, you rape happens in real life, whatever. I don't even mind people using it. The issue with this is I don't necessarily have that much problem with because she still gets to say that it was painful for her. She still gets to have like a a emotional reaction to that. And it was like the movie kind of tells us a bad thing to be done. It wasn't like a blame her for what he's doing sort of thing. Like, the movie is not in favor of that from the way the movie does, but it does say people say those things. People say those things in real life. So, like, having characters say that, that's something that people say in real life. The difference is that I don't think the movie itself is in favor of blaming her. The issue becomes, um, I think also the movie still punishes people. Still, the issue is like the guy, and indeed he gets punished for this in the story, but like he goes to be the one to do the protecting when she didn't necessarily ask for like him to do that, and therefore it leads to his own hand and everything. The same thing with Shadow. Now the reason why I find this as an issue of like the same thing with Shadow, oh, the rape that happens, it kind of sounds like instead of it being something an attack on the woman, it kind of sounds like it's how am I going to say, it feels like a middle age, the middle age idea of rape is not the crime upon the woman. The rape is the crime to the father or the husband that is connected to the woman, right? He gets punished for that. Shadow too. If you see the way the men were talking about about the rape, right? It's not necessarily like, oh, something. It's about like, how dare they rape a woman that is close to me, and like it is an offense to me. And the writer kind of has that in there, so that's kind of like I kind of have that kind of like, that doesn't sound very very, very, that's an issue for me. And yes, maybe Shadow's monologue should have been in pidgin rather than in like, because Shadow has been talking pidgin all throughout, and all of a sudden maybe it goes into Shakespeare and something. But Shadow has been in college, has been in university for 10 years, so I understand. Maybe he likes Shakespearean. It goes into into that, but I can see how that feels out of character. More than that feeling out of character, the thing that kind of gets to me out of that is that it's the way um it sounds more like it's an offense to Shadow, like the crime was done to Shadow rather than the crime being done to Shadow's mother. That's just the way I'm reading it. So that's kind of why that's my own kind of issue with it, because it's something it's something. um yeah, the sound. Yeah, some of the scene where at the bridge, right, where she tells Tayo that she was raped. I kind of like the fact that we don't see her tell it. It's implied, and the very next scene is telling his friend. I thought that was pretty brilliant. But like the camera, the way they place the camera, the drone is coming straight down to something. I felt like that shot was unnecessary. I felt like if they wanted to do like two different shots and have them, it felt like a shot that wanted to show how beautiful the place is. And I'm like, it's a very beautiful place, but like, I don't feel like this imagery fits the tone of like that scene. Um, I think that one should have just been handheld completely. So some of the choices of how to shoot it, I feel like there was an issue with them. Uh, yeah, how the story was also structured in itself. I don't think those are some of kind of the issues I'm just like, if there was just those changes in it, those creative different changes, it might have been a little bit better. But then again, it's a creative choice. Whatever. That would have made it better for me. The movie. So those are my kind of my bad pertaining to the structure and pertaining to the underlying like feel of like, okay, this kind of writing about the rape is more, it sounds more like an offense to the man that is connected to, which I get it. It can be an offense to like, yeah, but like it doesn't, the person writing it seems doesn't seem, I don't know. I can't judge based on just like the writing or something like that. But like it was a little iffy for me. A little iffy for me in that kind of like way of saying of tackling rape as more of an offense to a man. It feels very like a middle age law to me. Like,
Oh,
you know, doesn't feel very doesn't feel very 21st century.
all right,
Well,
thanks, guys. Mrs. C, do you want to do yours?
Yeah. So what did I not like about this film? I think for starters, I did not appreciate the I was just served and breakfast thing. That whole scene seemed like it was supposed to be serious and turned out comical, which is not different from how a number of things went. Um, Also just weird that his boss tells him he's expecting a young lady and he thinks he's being set up. I'm sorry, an older Nigerian oga tells me he's expecting a young lady. I think she's a sugar baby. Um, but sure, let's assume they're setting you up. The launch into his life story, I get it. They're just it's for the movie to happen, right? But he hadn't even started drinking the vodka when he started telling her his life story. That is a half a bottle of vodka story at least. You just met this person. You're telling her you did time because you got someone murdered, bruh. Anywho, this film made me watch Timmy stick his tongue between his fingers, and they zoomed in. That was a traumatic experience for me, which I wish to never repeat. When I was rewatching the film today, I looked away when that scene came up because I didn't want to see that again. What else did I not like? So I really didn't appreciate that this that this rape was done because he took drugs, right? Not just he didn't just take drugs, right? He took something he hasn't taken before, right? We literally see this demon talking to the angel and talking about causing chaos, right? And then gives him a drug and he blacks out. So and then in the morning when everyone is, fretting and talking to him and they tell him you raped that girl, he's like, what? Like genuinely shocked that he did such a thing, right? So it felt like it was taking the responsibility of the rape away from him and putting it on some chaos causing demon, which yeah, I didn't appreciate that. And also weirdly contradictory because his other friend goes, oh, we know magic does not have any control
Thank you.
around women. I'm like, okay, I don't understand. Is he a rapist or is he not? Right? Because why did he seem so shocked he'd raped? Why did he seem so shocked about it? So yeah, I really didn't appreciate them taking that responsibility away from him. That was crazy. And yeah, and with Otason, like this one wasn't sure whether they wanted to do victim blaming or like rape avengers because it's and again, I don't know if they were doing commentary on rape culture and the shame around it, and just putting that shame in the characters' mouths, right? With the Kemi person going, she doesn't want people to know about it. She doesn't want to carry that stigma, right? And her father, and it's like, oh, my father has pulled me out of this school, and you think, oh yeah, he's pulled her out because, you know, this awful thing. Nope, he doesn't want his daughter to be tagged the girl that was raped. It's like, okay, all right. And yeah, and sorry, I just really struggled to sympathize with Magic getting murdered, right? The only thing I cared about was her life getting ruined because of Magic's murder. The convenience of this other guy about hearing his confession as well about him being the one who killed Magic. It's like, okay, that's very throwbackish to back in the day, because someone is walking by minding his own business, and like the start of the conversation doesn't even have anything to do with him. But he stops by to listen. And there's like another 10 minutes before we get to the fact that he was the one that got Magic killed. So how anyway, sure. Let's move on from that. Oh my god, what else was it? I didn't think any of the most of either some of the acting was fine, but for the most part it was not particularly good. What else? Yeah, I don't know. The way the whole story went, it was just really sending me, to be honest. It wasn't I I don't think I particularly enjoyed the story. I know my first watch I fell asleep, so I had to rewatch. And see, I've gotten to the end of my bed and I'm struggling again, because that's still how I don't have any strong feelings about the film either way. It just feels like something that happened and had comedic wings, and a strange little happily ever after, where she comes back from London and because when did she love him? She liked him well enough as a friend, but when did she love him? She just seemed like somebody who wanted to make her music work, right? And anyway, that it happened, and I think that's about it. Mr. C, what did you not like?
It did indeed happen. Okay. So first thing I want to get out of the way is, I don't know how this film was shot. I don't know whether it was the cameras the film was shot with, or what I'm suspecting a little more, how it was exported from the drive. It was just so pixelated. It looked like something that was shot on like an iPhone 3G, right? Like in night. And I was just imagining if this was in cinemas, they would have had to have blown this up in the big screen for people to have seen, which would have been atrocious. It would have been more horrible to see. But it wasn't released in cinema, thank goodness. It was released for us in home. But even at home, I think I looked at it briefly on my phone, especially the night scenes where the camera has to do a little bit more work. It just looks very pixelated and not good. So all right, if we look at this film, I look at it in two ways. The actual meat, subject matter, the thing that happens in university, and the way it's sort of the framing around it in terms of this discussion. I feel everything about it is at best clumsy. And I'm clumsy to just very poorly executed. From the way Mrs. C has discussed, from the way like he starts talking about the whole story, to the sort of romantic leads. Again, like I know the synopsis is not available elsewhere, but like it does have friend zoning in the synopsis. It's just like something about like Love Gone Sour story, Fate Plays in Hands, and the tales of dreams, friend zones, revenge, hope, and redemption. And it did seem like she was just keeping him as a friend. Didn't seem no romantic interest, like Mrs. C said, till like all of this had passed. It's like so weird. Like if she was coming back to thank him, understandable. Then, but we don't need all this drama and setup for the for the film to happen. So it had to be love, but it didn't set up anything about love for from her perspective. We get it from his perspective, but from her perspective, he's just been a friend. I think Ainkon said something about maybe because she learns that he does what he kills the guy who rapes, but like we don't even get any semblance of how she feels about her rapist. Not really, right? I except I missed something. Like
she's not
no,
she
but like
said anything about wanting him dead.
Yeah, the film doesn't.
Don't I didn't. It's not because she killed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that she learned that it makes like not necessarily like it makes a sacrifice of his life of his years of life for her, and then also he does. Wait, let me finish speaking.
And
this also, is
actually my girl, because this is my girl.
Don't start with me, please.
This is my girl, and I do have to read the
Okay, let me just.
The other question I'm asking though is like you said he makes a sacrifice. What? How?
Wait. What I mean is like he doesn't want her to know. He literally tells the people not to let her to know.
Jump into another thing.
The sacrifice, and
how does he make the sacrifice?
Let me finish, please.
No,
meaning that
because like that's the important thing. Because nothing else matters. It's like
meaning that okay, he in this meaning that he doesn't want anything in return. So if she learns about that, she might change or something. But yeah, I'm not saying that it should have ended with like romance. I'm saying that even remember what I said. I said that it could have just ended with both of them being together, or even like there's an hint to a future that they will be in. Because actually, I don't like the way it ended, because it ended with like they were going to get married.
Okay,
which is ridiculous. I agree with everybody in that aspect. It could have just been an open ending of like maybe there was going to be a romance in the future. I thought that was a better ending.
Okay, I get that. Okay, so we're generally on the same. It seems like we're on the same page with that.
I said this during my something.
Wait now. It only seems the issue seems though that I don't even, given where she was, like where they had somewhat all agreed to cover the rape and move on with their life. It seemed like all he did was open a wound that they were trying to close and like sort of more difficult. Complicate her life more. That's that from the film that they were showing. That's all that was shown to me, right? So like it didn't seem like he actually did anything that should have mattered. In the thing that could have been, you did this for me in terms of like going after the rapist. Number one, the film shows that not really his fault. Like he was, under Heisenberg demons, blue rapey drug, and so there's that. And then the other thing is just that they didn't show, like, you don't see any impact of what the rape does to her, how she feels about it. So like, I don't know, like, this is what I mean by the whole film. The whole film is going to. I mean, like how she feels. Again, how she feels about her rapist is what I'm saying. Like, it's like if something is going,
any desire to get back at him, any desire for anything to happen to him, and this guy has just taken it upon.
It is just about him. It has nothing to do with her.
And even when they're talking about it, she goes, after she gets accused, right? And she goes, "Oh, I've told," and because again, like who told the police, right, about the rape, right? And she goes, and then he mentions that she's told him, "You've told me." And it's like, yeah, and I've told Franca, and neither of you have a gun or the ability to do anything so evil. Like, it's just something she wouldn't even conceptualize.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, everything it tried to do was clumsily done. So like it felt difficult to get into the film. The film is just clumsy, and I'm not sure if this is the filmmaker's first time, but like everything about it was clumsy. The romance was clumsy. The inciting incident is clumsy. The sort of end, the sort of arc or end is clumsy. Even even the way the guy dies. Oh God. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I don't think I need to go. I think technically it looked ugly because of that. It didn't look like it was exported with the right bit rate or something. It looked ugly and pixelated. I thought the thing was clumsy. There were a lot of very, very corny lines, but that's not, I guess, unusual for Nollywood. I would have pardoned it if it had something else going for it. This film has nothing going for it for me. Absolutely nothing. That's why I struggle to the good. The one thing I should have probably mentioned, Jim, is like for university students, they all looked relatively young. I think that's yeah, except Shadow. But Shadow looks like he has repeated a few times.
I think that they mentioned that Magic has also repeated a few times.
Yeah. All right. Okay. But that's it for me. All right. Elizabeth, did you want to say something before we head into our summaries, or if anyone had any pushback?
Yes. So I wanted to talk about it's just so not exactly a pushback because Oyinka said the whole shallow thing being something ripped onto a man. Yes, I get the entire concept because throughout this movie it was the men that took it upon themselves, right? But you see that monologue, that speech right there was done because they needed to give Shallow a motivation. So it's one of those things where you run it into the script and you're like, oh, but it's not tight enough. And somebody goes, yeah, let's make sure that his mom had been raped before. I don't think it was something that really went into like a lot of thought into it. But yes, the entire movie really just made this whole rape thing against this man. Tayo took it upon himself. And we needed Shallow. We know that he hated Magic, but they needed something concrete to make him want to kill Magic so bad. And so they found that easy motivation, picked it up somewhere. I'm like, yeah, let's just dash him a raped mother. Yes, we've got that.
Exactly. That's the issue that you have with like, oh, what did he do? That you're saying that, oh, it made it more complicated. That's why I'm saying that the issue with the rape, with talking about rape in this movie, was like it was the thing of like it is the crime was done to the man that is closest to the woman. It feels very patriarchal. That's one of my like something issues with this movie. Like like at first when I saw it with what's his name, with Taiwo gets punished for that idea by definitely getting doing all the troubles that came afterwards. So I was like, oh, this movie is actually quite something. Was actually quite something. He's saying that okay, because there's this idea of the man must protect the woman. Well, sometimes your decisions to go do something for your manhood can definitely not be helpful. But then you see in the movie, Shadow is saying this thing and talking like this and this, and then you're like, oh, there's an issue with the movie itself. It's going to punish Taiwo for it, but it's not necessarily going to necessarily punish Shadow. The movie believes that this is the way rape should kind of be seen, and that's the thing that causes all this thing. That was what I was saying. It wasn't as much focused on her, it was more focused on him as a person who has been wronged.
Another thing, like worth adding, is that when we first introduced to Magic, for some reason, is Shadow the bad guy, the bad guy, the cultist. Yeah. All right. So when we get introduced to Magic, Shadow and his gang are already like have it in for him. So it seems like they're looking for an excuse to like get at Magic. So like it just the motive. I don't know why put that in there. So like it now even like muddies this. It just muddies the even like cultists against rapists thing that's going on, because like it feels like maybe it's an opportunity to get rid of magic. Again, like I said, everything about it just feels clumsy. Atas, what did you want to add?
Oh, I was gonna say, I forgot for a second. That yeah, no, Shadow doesn't make sense. And I think it's because the writer, again, I don't like to make aspersions on people's character, but the entire movie is misogynist. I don't even see the confliction that everyone is seeing, because it sets itself pretty nicely as misogynist and ends that way. Um, because off from the bat, but benevolent misogynist, which is fun, because off the bat, Shadow himself already has two good reasons. He doesn't like magic. This guy saved his life and has come to ask for a life debt. Those two reasons make solid sense to me. I don't think he needs an English monologue of his mother's rape that he witnessed in between. Other than for a reason, it just, I, anyways.
Yeah, no, I understand. Is there? Did anyone have pushback for this? Or anything else they want to add? And then we go into summaries.
I don't push back. I have follow up on the misogyny thing. That ending scene when she was, talking to him like, I was
I'm
a
so
silly little
sorry. Yeah, I
girl
was so
who couldn't
young.
see what
Like
was
the
in front of my
entire
eyes.
movie.
It's like, but what did she do?
The
There was
entire
absolutely
movie.
nothing she did. That was a silly little thing. Nothing. She went to a party. She went to a recording studio. What was the thing she did? Absolutely nothing.
You can't allow somebody to make mistake.
Yeah, like,
She said.
like what happened? Yeah, it was benevolent
And the last
misogyny,
thing
to
he
be
even says
honest.
to her in person before this long story that he tells a strange woman that he just met is telling her, why did she go to
Why
the
did
party?
she go to that party
Yeah,
in the
like,
first place?
who is
Like,
the
she was
good
the one
guy
that sent him
here?
to go
Who
and do
have I
murder.
rooted for?
Like, I'm sorry her rape was inconvenient to you, my guy.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Before we move on to the summaries, we're just about to. Best African actor. I don't know if it's on stage. Is what did you want to say? Best African actor.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, have a pushback. Let me see. I'm not really clear about this misogyny thing. Like, can you guys hear me? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He was speaking with his friend, and then his friend was like, "Why did she even go to this party in the first place? Like, this girl doesn't reach you and all that." And then the guy was actually doing a pushback there, right there. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like, are you trying to
Yep.
make her the Are you trying to make her the? Sorry, are you trying to make? Are you trying to blame her? She's the victim.
Uh-huh.
Like the friend was going all, well, why did she go to that party and all, and stuff, and then this guy was actually pushing back and making sure that he
Uh-huh.
set this thing straight. And then he even want the friend, don't talk about her like that anymore, don't say that again. The same thing happened in that last scene where this guy eavesdropped and heard what they were saying. And then this guy was just warning his friend, like, okay, don't talk about this thing like this anymore. I don't want you to say this about this girl and stuff. So I think they did enough to correct that
But then
this
he
film.
goes right back to the same woman and asks her, why did she go to the party? So to me, what that comes off as, that his ego is bruised because his friend knows that this other part, like, it doesn't seem like he genuinely cares about this person. I, at any point, do not, like, he's obsessed with her. I get that he loves her, but he doesn't even stop at any point to ask this babe, do you like me? Like,
I don't.
we just assume
Sorry,
that she's in love with
s-
her the entire movie,
sorry.
and then he
I,
blames her
I,
at
I
the
don't think.
end for her
Sorry.
getting
I don't think
raped.
it's right to say this guy doesn't care about her. I don't think,
I
because
don't think he
because
does. I
everything this
think he
movie did,
likes her and
everything
he
this
wants to
movie
be with
did,
her.
everything this movie did is make this guy can I use the word stupid? Because I mean, he's doing everything to get this girl's attention, even though this girl is giving a lot
Uh-huh.
of this girl is giving a lot of I don't care about you, and then he still goes all out for her to the extent that okay, he hears that this
He
girl.
didn't go all out for her.
Okay,
He go
you
all for
think
himself because she told him not to do
okay,
that.
so he goes out to meet this guy and say okay, so someone raped my girl or whatever it is, to the extent of them capturing this guy and then killing him. I don't think he did that for
But why
himself.
do you think that's romantic?
I don't
But
think.
why do you think that's romantic or
I
a good
think he just
thing?
cares about her.
Why do
I
you
really
think that
just think
paints
he
a
cares about her
positive
because if he's someone
picture?
that he does not care about, he won't even give 2 cents about whatever happened to her
I'm
right there.
sorry. I've
I
seen
mean,
men do
this
insane
Wait,
guy.
wait,
things
wait,
Okay,
wait,
please
wait,
and
wait,
men
guys.
see.
dismiss.
You're talking with a girl, yeah, and then this girl instead of coming to your house that day to come visit you, she said she doesn't want to come. She wants to go to the party. She goes to the party. And then what happens at the party? Something very bad happened to her. If it's someone that does not care about her, the moment she said and tells him whatever happened there, he will just zone off. If he doesn't care
Not if
about
he's
her,
someone who feels possessive of her.
I
You
think he
can
will just
feel
zone off.
possession of someone and not
I
care
think
about
if
them.
I can split the difference, I think there's I think what West African likes to say he cares, and I think bro, it's not incompatible with what everybody else is saying in terms of with the misogyny. It's like you can care about someone to the point where you don't care what they think about your feelings. Like her feelings about her feelings in general are not considered. So like
I
all of
disagree that
this.
he cares. So we're not splitting the difference because I don't
No,
think
no,
there's
no,
any
no.
care at all.
No, well, about like care, like okay, maybe care is the wrong one, but he really likes her.
He
But like, I
does.
feel like he wants her, and he feels like he's doing all the things and so therefore he's entitled to at least he's entitled to something from her, like, and he's not satisfied
Mr. C,
being a
Mr.
friend.
C, I don't even think this guy is entitled enough. Or let me say, I don't even think he's entitled at all. The person that is if we're talking about someone that is entitled, it is that his friend. The way that guy talks, he talks like, okay, you are doing all this. What are you getting in return? And I even
Mm.
think this guy is simple enough, and I think it's more than simple because this is someone that is very
Can I
good.
tell you? Can I tell you what? Like my biggest issue with him that I remember is when he goes to her, um, like where he's asking her why did you even go to that party in the first place? Um, it didn't make any sense if you didn't feel like he felt you should have obviously been with me, the person who has been showing you love and care and like has been showing you a certain kind of interest. But like it doesn't compute to him that she has other things, that ambition. At that time what she was chasing is like music. It doesn't occur to him that maybe she's not, like that's what she wants, and that's what was important to her. Is like, why would you go to this guy's party in the first
Well,
place?
Mr. C, does that make him
That's where.
misogynistic?
No, no, no. So hold on. I just want to
Wait,
build
wait,
on
wait.
what Mr. C is saying as well, because even that night when she was going to Magic's party, right? She told him why she was going. I mean, it doesn't matter if she was going because she likes Magic, but she told him, I need to go to Magic's party because this is my chance to get my music out there, blah, 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 blah. She told him this was music related. I will shall come to your room later, right? But what I want to build on, Seth, on why he's not selfless. He didn't turn himself in, by the way, right? This his action, this killing Magic had a negative impact on her, right? It turned out maybe even if we say, okay, he had the right, he wanted to get some vengeance on her behalf, right? Him killing Magic put suspicion on her, right? She has not only gotten pulled out of school, the police have seized her passport. She's not even able to go and start her life again abroad and go to uni. She is in a standstill. She's in limbo, and they said they are not releasing her until they come to the bottom of this case. Now, he doesn't even have the inclination to go make her life better in this way, right? He gets frustrated at her. She's frustrated that this is happening to her. He gets frustrated at her being frustrated, and not only has she been raped, her life has been put on standstill through no fault of her own, and goes, "Why were you even at that party?" And that's why she stopped speaking to him. The only reason why her life loosens up again is because he was talking to his friend. Magic's friend overheard and told the police. So even when he goes, "I got 10 years on the condition that they wouldn't tell her what happened." What was his negotiation? What was his negotiating power? On the condition that she wouldn't hear what happened. Like, "Oh my God, I did something for her." You would have let her just stay there. He'd not indicated anything about untying her from this situation that he put her in. So show me where his selflessness is
So, Mrs. C,
in
you're saying
making her
this is
life more
what makes the
difficult.
guy misogynistic, right?
The guy is not misogynist. The movie
I think,
is.
Miss
I'm the one
America,
who said misogynist.
I think the word misogyny stresses you out,
It came from
right?
me.
So
I told you.
yeah, I think it stresses you out, and like I don't know if we've directly called him misogynistic, although we've talked about misogyny in the film. But take that out, just as a person, as a potential boyfriend, as how they've ended up in this relationship. Can you see why one would have an issue with them falling into this relationship at the end with this resolution? Or can you potentially conceptualize why there are some people that might not be satisfied with the resolution of this film and the conclusion that was come to?
Well, personally, I think that relationship was first in the first place.
Okay.
I think there was no
Sorry, me, I just
relationship.
want to
The
point out that
relationship
we
was
passed 90
first too.
minutes. So
Yeah, I failed.
We have failed. We
Like,
have all failed.
I don't think this movie, I think the word that I used was patriarchal.
I said
Patriarchal,
misogynist.
yeah, she said, I think it was a patriarchal movie because of the way it situated the rape as more of a crime. And I'm not going to say that the movie does not point on like the crime is to the woman, but kind of the narrative focus. She does get her like, okay, the crime is upon me, but the narrative focus of the writing is on the crime done to the man. And then when you see the shadow thing, the way shadow speaks, like the crime is done to the man. That's why I say it's patriarchal. I don't think it's misogynistic. And I also, at the point where he was saying, I will give to the fact that at the point where he was asking her, "Oh, why did you go to do something?" It came out of his guilt because she was telling him about all the things that happened out of this action, and he felt really, really bad, and he didn't want to hold on to that, and so he lashed out. He apologized. He lashed out, and that's something that human beings do, right? So I don't think he's a bad guy. I think the movie is patriarchal in that manner. So I does that help? Best African. I don't.
Sorry, but I think he's misogynist,
No,
and I'm the one who
and
said he was
everybody, yes,
misogynist. So I'm going to stand with this.
everybody, that's the thing about heart. Everybody can have their own personal opinion. All of this is all personal opinion. Most of our something. Also, there is some very valid critiques about about that. And Osas is very much within our right to think that it's
Otas.
patriarchal. And that's Osas that's Osas
Otas.
huh? And
Otas.
Otats.
There you go.
Stas
Yeah,
is my
Otat.
queen,
Otat. I
please.
keep on calling you Otat, but Otat. Otat is within very much a right to believe that. And that's Otat's belief. That's us.
All right. Are you the
That
moderator?
and
Are
mine
you
is
the moderator? What are
patriarchal.
you doing now?
And
Hey,
mine is patriarchal. I don't think it's misogynist. I think it's a patriarchal story. I think you can have patriarchal beliefs without being misogyny. Misogyny for me is like you hate women.
I think the movie hates women because I would see three reasons. Number one, there's no woman in this movie that has agency. Everything in this movie, despite a woman, by the way, being I guess, one of the leads or the second lead, she has no agency the entire movie. Things are just happening to her and she's just kind of going along with them. That's number one. Number two, all the men in this movie are misogynist, even the good ones. All of them are acting on some sort of benevolent misogyny that exists either in the head of the writer or in the head of the director. I am not going to speculate much more than that. The entire movie, the women are tools and the men are idiots who are carrying out things, doing things to these women and on their behalf and making their lives worse. If that is not misogyny and someone that hates women, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't think that liking someone and doing things because you like that person, even though they have either expressed disinterest or not expressed any interest, counts as either romance or kindness or being gentlemanly. But that is just me. I personally prefer people not act on my behalf and make my life worse.
All right. Elizabeth, your hand is up. Did you want to say anything? If not, we can start our summary.
Yeah, I'm going to go into my summary, but I wanted to say that everybody. If I wanted to say that I think best African. Sorry, can't see the full name. I feel like you are internalizing the character. Let me put it that way. So I mean, overall, is the writing that goes into this movie, and then one thing that writers probably don't put back in mind is, I mean, maybe they actually do, is how the audience will react or take these things that you have written into your films. This is very much savior complex going on with this guy, and they led the entire film based on that savior complex. And then this film took on rape as a theme to use as the vehicle to show us the central theme that, there are dark forces, good forces that rule the affair of men. And imagine using rape in things where there is an actual victim who has done absolutely nothing, right? So in writing motivations and character arc, these writer has wittingly or unwittingly put in misogynistic elements in here with the savior complex with this guy who is going, because when you internalize that character, I'm not presuming anything as your person, but it's you looking at like, but he's trying to help her, he likes her, he's defending her, he did that for her, and that is how it comes off. But when you look at the entire arc, is based on, I mean, what Onyeka and Otaza said, like this thing has been done to him, and it's almost as though he deserves some form of accolades, right? And this is after. It's a different thing if this writer had written this story to be the girl was so hurt, and she said she wished somebody would kill this guy. If she had said that out of her mouth, right? This is an entirely different story, because it would seem that though this guy just did a bidding, right? Or if they have established some form of love, maybe she's shy, she didn't want to tell her friends, but she also really likes this guy, and maybe they talked about liking each other, right? So this is going to be, you're going to be adding layers that explain things. But what has happened is that the writer has been writing things, ignoring that at the end of the day there's going to be an old picture, and the whole picture, and the whole picture right now is that this guy has a freaking savior complex, and the entire plot as a whole is misogynistic towards women at the end of the day. That is the outcome of what the writer has written, wittingly or not wittingly. So to my whatever about this film, when I watched it, I thought it was okay. This is the first Nollywood movie, apart from all the bunch of old movies I've seen on YouTube, that I've managed to watch from 0 to 90 minutes or 95 minutes. I've been having problems getting past 4, 5, 6 scenes, and this was okay for me. Yeah, maybe it's because it's not spectacle. So maybe I've had like spectacle overdose. It's probably going to piss you off if you dip it very long. But if you don't dip it, you're going to maybe just enjoy performance here or there. Like, that's the devil, that's the angel. But that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. All right. Vanessa, do you want to give us your
Yeah,
summary?
so but first I just want to
I thought you
state
were quiet during all that
keep
pushback. I
let me
noticed.
land. I just want to say that the going past 90 minutes was not my fault. That's one. Actually, it was the fault of disease. I just want everybody to realize. My summary, just like Mo, if if you've been inundated by spectacle and crime dramas and epics in Nollywood and just want a plain old film, human drama, that kind of doesn't know what it is, but like it's not horrendous. Like the middle of it, very straightforward story to a large extent. If you forget the periphery in the beginning and the end, and if you don't deep it too much and like watch it when you're in a good mood and you can forgive certain things without really thinking about a lot too seriously, then it won't be a bad watch. Just don't expect too much from it, really.
All right. Okay. So don't expect too much. The signs of a great movie.
Oga, did I say it was a great film? This man. In fact,
Hey, God. Atas, do you want to give us your summary?
I blame Vanessa for
how
everything.
am I at fault?
I don't even know what about everything. That said, things happen throughout this movie because they have to. Timini stands out so much and was very much hello fellow young kids. The drug exchange conversation was physically painful to me. The entire movie I found a lot of it misogynist, and I don't know, this movie was confused. Her friends loved her and hated her in equal extents. I mean, there's an angel, there's a demon. You can't ask for too much more or too much less. I hope everyone involved does better in a better film next time. And I will not watch it again. I will not recommend it. And good luck to everyone.
All right. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Taz. Enkans, do you want to give us your summary?
The movie was an okay human drama movie. It has some low, because it's low budget, it has some pixelated screening, but not all movies are supposed to have like great technicality. So again, like I always say, movies are meant for after you've walked in the afternoon or you just want to entertain yourself. Play for 20 minutes. If you like it, continue. If you don't like it, switch it off. There's a lot of movies nowadays. So there. It was an okay movie for me. Watch it or don't watch it. It's your own choice. That's ultimately what movies are.
All right. Thanks, Enkans. Best African actor, do you want to give us your summary?
Yeah, I'm indifferent about the film. I think the film was set back maybe 10 years ago or something, especially with the music and all that. And I think the film tried to access waters that is really not important to the story. And also, I think the relationship that happened at the end shouldn't have happened because the woman doesn't care, doesn't love. Let me use the word love. The woman doesn't love the man. She just came back because of, let me see, is it guilt or pity? Yeah, maybe pity of what happened to the guy and all that. And also, yeah, because it was very obvious from the beginning that she does not want to have a relationship with him. So, and everything he was doing, yeah, and I also think I think the guy was dumb. He was doing things that he shouldn't have been doing, things that they did not say, message that they did not send him. He was doing it. And also, finally, I don't think this film was misogynistic. To me, it isn't. Just a couple of, just a couple of people that are confused in the story. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Best African actor. Mrs. C, do you want to give us your?
Yeah. So I guess I understand why you guys are giving it a pass, but Mono Like Monotive, this one was not good. It it was not good. They had, I'm gonna borrow from Mr. C when he said this was someone's idea. Someone had an idea, and I don't know how you phrased it, but the idea should not go well.
Just clumsy.
It really was clumsy. It really was clumsy. And I guess maybe if you don't dip it, but I dipped it, right? Because we'll watch a film, we'll come to film club, and now we have to talk about it. And now I have to talk about it. I'm dipping it, right? I was dipping it when I watched it. And the more we've talked about it, the more I've dipped it, the more the misogyny has jumped out. Like, sorry, this is not bad. This was bad. Sorry. I guess maybe you can underplay how bad it was because like nobody was asking you to like it, right? And nobody was hyping it like Jagu Jagu or Brotherhood or whatever, right? It just Prime just took it there and left it like that. So you're like, well, I guess it's like I can't watch bad comments and tell me it's okay.
Hey, bad comments is fire.
Bad comments is brilliant.
Fire comedy. All right, okay. Mr. C is taking the words out of my mouth, really. I don't think this is okay. And, saying, I don't think it does a disservice to the rest of all of the Nollywood films we've seen, every single one of them to say, well, yeah, the picture is not that clear. No. This is exceptionally bad. Like it's whatever we've had, this is the worst by quite some way. And again, it's just, it seems to me like a competence thing. I doubt they used a camera so old that it was pixelating this much. So I think this is it's a bitrate exporting issue. So yeah, like I said, like almost no plot works for me. No plot point works for me without being clumsy or without either clumsily executed. So I can't say it was okay. I don't know what I'm supposed to be okay or giving a pass to because everything it tried to do for me, it did not succeed in. So yeah, it's a no for me. But like, yeah, if you feel positively about it, you very much feel free to. We will go again next week. I don't know whether I'm asking anybody else for recommendations again. I should do that because I can blame it. I can blame whatever.
And this week you blame
ask anybody for recommendations. If you want me to make the affair that will fair and open the ash of the chicken, I will gladly do it because she didn't ask anybody for recommendation.
Did I call anybody's name?
You just dropped this on us.
You know, between a rock and a hard place. It was like choose between Devils and Inagbada or this film that nobody knows about. And I decided to go with a film that nobody knows about. Be surprised. Now all of a sudden is recommendation. Recommendation though she would, yeah.
I just knew Vanessa was at the height of this. Like I could feel it in my blood.
It's funny, like all the vim Vanessa had in her good when she was like, "I'm happy to have been responsible for this film." All of that vim is gone.
I heavily campaigned. After you presented me with two options, I don't know what you want me to do. Like you gave me, you wanted us to talk about Devil in Agbada?
Yeah.
Could not have been worse than this.
No, it was a travesty. I'm so sorry. Like I don't remember much of that film at all, except Uzaruque's dread and slash locks.
It for next week.
It already sounds better, doesn't it?
And the acting, if you thought the acting in this was bad, I have one name for you. Eric Anweledim. That's all I have to say.
I'm going to clip this thing, post it, and add the link.
You know what? It's fine. At this point, I'm used to routine roasting on Twitter. I'm used to routine roasting on Twitter at this point, so I don't really care.
Survived a lot, to be honest.
I've been roasted by the abroad, so at this point, it doesn't even really matter anymore.
All right. I don't know if anything comes out. Maybe Prime will put another surprise package for us. But we'll see how it goes. But thanks for everyone who joined us. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday, 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.